Okay, well, good morning, folks. Now, before I do start, I do require a volunteer to help me. All the hands up. Leo, sir, hold on to that.
Oh, Leo!
Okay, good morning, folks. My name is Constable Lancaster, and I'm a Goldfields trooper here in Ballarat. Now, Ballarat is the modern term for resting place, and for much of its time here, Ballarat was a nice, quiet and peaceful resting place. Until 1851. Everybody tell me what happened here in 1851.
They found gold?
Found gold, started the gold rush. All of a sudden, this nice, quiet, peaceful resting place becomes a huge, bustling hive of activity. Thousands upon thousands of people from all over the world come here to try and make their fortune. Now, at this time, down in Melbourne, we had a police force of 40 men. That was the entire police force for the entire colony of Victoria. Now, they were paid £22.5 a year, which is an absolute pittance. So, as soon as gold was discovered here, every single one of those police officers handed in his notice and came here to try and find gold. So it meant the government had a problem. Had thousands upon thousands of people coming here to try and find gold, and it had no police force. So the government did what all good governments do in situations like this, and it panicked. It had to try and find a police force and quick. Now, fortunately for them, there was a group of people just to the south who did have some knowledge of the criminal justice system. Anyone any idea who these men were? Convicts, exactly. Convicts up Van Diemen's Land. They've got knowledge of the criminal justice system because they've been through it. So the government turned to these men and went, look, come and work for us, we'll forgive you of your prison sentences, and you can come and be town and foot police. Now, as you can imagine, a lot of these prisoners went, yep, sounds like a good deal, better than sitting in a jail cell. So they came here and they became town and foot police. Now, these men weren't given any training, which meant they had a tendency to slide back into their previous professions. So they weren't very good police officers. And the government did realise this, and they went, we need a better sort of police officer, a higher calibre of police officer, if you will. So they turned to a group of men who were working opposite the convicts. Anyone any idea who these men were? Wardens, prison guards. The prison guards were in fact the redcoat soldiers, the British Army. They turned to the army and went, look, once you finish your tour of duty, come and work for us, we'll give you a nice shiny uniform like the one I'm wearing. You'll be our mounted troopers, our higher calibre of police officers. So as you can imagine, a lot of these soldiers said, yep, they came here and became mounted troopers. Unfortunately, they weren't given any training either. But, fortunately, they did have some training to fall back on. Their training consists of, that there is a bad guy, kill him. So not the greatest basis for a police officer. When the police started here in Ballarat, there was a lot of problems. There was a lot of drunkenness, there was a lot of fighting, a lot of murdering, a lot of theft, all that sort of stuff. Mostly the police who were doing it all. So the government had to come up with a way of actually making the police do their job. They came up with this very clever idea of finable offences. That is, you commit a crime, you're arrested for that crime, you are fined for that crime, and the police officer who arrested you gets half of that fine. Sounds like a good way of making the police do their job? No. The police became utterly obsessed with trying to find these finable offences, because they're still only paid £22.5 a year. Nothing. So, for town police working here in town, it's really easy. Hands up those who have sworn or blasphemed here today. No. Some honest people, there's a lot of sheepish faces looking out there. That is a finable offence, but that's the town police. So I'm a mounted trooper, I'm down at the diggings. There's a couple of ways for me to make money. The first one is what we call sly grog. That is illegal alcohol. When the diggings first started up, the government banned all alcohol, with the idea of keeping the diggings a peaceful and lawful place. Did it work? No, of course it didn't. It just meant the alcohol went underground into what we call sly grog, or illegal alcohol. Now if you're caught selling sly grog, it is a £50 fine. If I'm the one who catches you, I get half of that fine, that's £25. My yearly wage, £22.5. I can make more than my yearly wage in one arrest. 3 guesses what I'm looking for down on the diggings. Sly grog. So we do know here in Ballarat there was a trooper who had his very own large barrel of alcohol. What he would do is he'd go around all the diggers looking for protection money. He found a digger who refused to pay that protection money. That digger would find his very large barrel of alcohol in his tent, and the police officer stood outside going, right lads, slide on search. Let's look in here, shall we? So he always got his money. He was incredibly corrupt. The other way of making money, young sir, can you open up that piece of paper that I gave you? Hold it up nice and high and show it to everyone. That's it, spin it round so everyone can see. So this is a gold license. Every man on the diggings over the age of 12 needs a gold license. Ladies, you don't need one. It is assumed your husbands would have one. But any man over the age of 12 needs one of those. It is £2 for a 3-month license. If you do not have a license, it is a £5 fine. So I catch you without it, I get half of it, that's £2.5. We do the maths, 9 arrests, and I've made my yearly wage. That is made out of paper. Was anybody here yesterday? You will know it is quite soggy here in Ballarat. Paper doesn't really last that well in the wet. It's not unheard of for the troopers to help those licences disintegrate. So it's all very, very corrupt here. Thank you very much, young sir, you can put it down there. So it's all very, very corrupt. It all came to a head here in Ballarat on the 3rd of December 1854, what we call the Battle of the Eureka Stockade. The local diggers decided they had enough of the corrupt government, enough of the corrupt licence system, and most definitely enough of the very corrupt police force. So they erected their own palisade, they erected their own flag, basically claimed independence. Didn't go so well for them because the British Army was called in, and they brought a cannon. The battle only lasted 15 minutes. They did force the government into working out why they'd done it. The conclusion that they came to was it was the corrupt police force. So they disbanded all the different police forces, and they started up the new Victoria Police Force. The basis for the police force that you guys have today. That is me getting ahead of myself. You guys are here to see how I get money out of a digger, yeah? Fortunately, I have a digger just over here. So it goes a little something like this. Excuse me, digger, do you have a license there? You went this way. Excuse me, digger, do you have a license there? Do you have £5? What are you going to do? Just going to stand there? Run! There we go, run! So, this is where we come to my first piece of equipment. This is what I call my small child attitude adjuster. It is also called a truncheon. It's made from a very hard but very light wood. Perfect for giving somebody a wrap around the back of the head. Parents, if you need them, come and see me afterwards. I've got spares. So, my young digger here is running away. I run after him, give him a plonk around the back of the head, knock him out, and I can arrest him. Now, this is what the town and the foot police would be wearing. Myself as a mounted trooper, I would not have one of these. We wear them here at Sovereign Hill so that you folks, when you look at us, can instantly recognise us as police officers. Normally, I wouldn't have one of these. What I would have instead, my favourite piece of equipment, what is this? This is not a sword. This is a sabre. Now the difference between a sword and a sabre is the sword is sharp on both sides. Sabre, sharp on one side, blunt on the other. Now this is particularly handy for policing. Could you imagine I'm on my horse galloping after my young digger here, I get up to him and swing down with my sabre, what's going to happen to him? I've got to cut him in half. So this is bad for several reasons. Number one, as a police officer it is frowned upon to kill people. You're not meant to do that. Number two, as a police officer, if I do kill somebody, I've got an awful lot of paperwork I need to fill out. Number three, which is most important, if I kill him, I cannot get any more money out of him. So we're going to try and keep him alive for as long as possible. So, turn the weapon around. We've got the blunt edge here. Ride up after him, pout him around the back of the head with the blunt edge, not kill him. That way I can knock him out and arrest him. He does look a bit rowdy, this one. He gets a bit up close and in the face. I can turn the weapon around. This section of the sword here is called the pommel. Has anybody heard the phrase to give somebody a good pommeling? Yeah, this is where it comes from. So he gets up close in my face, turn the weapon around, give him a good tap in the head with that, knock him out, and I can arrest him. So, let us say I've knocked out my young digger here, what am I going to do next? Handcuffs. Exactly, thank you very much. So these are my handcuffs. They're made out of cast iron and they are quite heavy. Work very simply, clipping in like so. In here you will see a screw mechanism. In there goes the screw key, and it pops the whole thing open. This is where we believe that prison officers get their nickname, the Screws, from.
Oh, okay.
Now, come here. Arm down. There he is, he's arrested, he's all nice and in trouble. Open your hands up. No problem. But uniform regulations do state that I have to carry at least 5 different sets of handcuffs just for this eventuality. So, this is the medium set. We do in fact have a children's size. There's the intermediate, this is the medium, there's another intermediate, and there is a large for the large gentleman. Now, this is all well and good, but as I said, these are made out of cast iron. They are quite heavy. You imagine me walking around with 5 of these on my belt all day, could be walking like this by the end of the day. So, being quite lazy in nature, I'm not going to carry all 5. I'm going to carry this set, the medium set. These are not adjustable, but human wrists are. Human wrists. Yeah, come here, young sir. Step to one side there, man. Put your wrist on there like that. There we go, right, hold still. Hold still. Are you ready? Right, you nod your head when you're ready and I'll hit it. Ready? No? I won't do that. So what we would do is give his wrists a good tapping. They're going to swell up. Put him in the handcuffs. He's not going to be able to pull out his hands. Now, for the larger gentleman whose wrists don't actually fit into the handcuffs, similar process. Hard surface, and I'm just going to keep on beating your wrists until they're nice and squishy. That way I can then force them into the handcuffs, force the handcuffs closed, and you're not going to escape. Sound good? So at this point, I should point out, is everybody getting the feeling that us troopers are really nice, kind, wonderful, friendly people?
Yeah.
So, I've arrested my young digger here. Where am I going to take him next?
The jail.
Jail! One small problem with that, we don't have a jail here in Ballarat until the late 1860s. What we do have though is a new high-tech piece of modern policing equipment. We call it a tree. Around this tree is a chain. What we're going to do is lock you to that tree and then leave you there. Now we started off with a tree, later on we developed a log. That is because the tree fell over. After the log, we got a log cabin. Log cabin wasn't very good because people kept on escaping, either because it was poorly made or the men guarding it were stood like this. We abandoned the log cabin, went back to the log. Down the bottom of the street, round the corner in government camp, the log is still there, shackles and all. Parents, if they are causing you trouble, lock them there, we'll deal with them next week. So, what I'm going to do, lock you to that log and leave you there until the magistrate turns up. Now the magistrate has a 2-week circuit, meaning if he was here yesterday, he's not going to be back for another 2 weeks. Don't worry, I will give you a bucket. I'll leave it to your imagination what the bucket is for, but that is all we're going to give you. You think in that 2 weeks you're going to need some food, water, maybe a blanket on the night? Yeah? Tough luck. If you want any food, water, shelter, a fluffy blanket for the night, whatever, you have to rely on your friends and family to bring it to you. It is not the police's job to give it to you. If you do not have any friends and family here on the diggings, tough luck. If you are dead by the time the magistrate gets here, oh well, he's got one less court case to do, and we go through your pockets and try and find anything of value. So, the question is, do you want to be arrested, young sir? No, good, he's resisting arrest. So I have to escalate things. This is my 58 caliber smooth bore pistol. It fires a solid lead 58 caliber slug this size. This solid lead 58 caliber slug is 100% accurate up until here. After that it will go anywhere, and I mean anywhere. If I wanted to guarantee to hit this young gentleman with this weapon at this range, what I would do is I'd turn it round and throw it at him. Utterly useless, this thing. Utterly useless. We're trying to get our hands on new modern firearms coming over from America. New Colt revolver. 6 shots before you have to reload. It's much more accurate. What we do to try and get our hands on this thing is we find a digger who has one, this gentleman here, we arrest him for something, and then we steal his gun. Try and get rid of this as soon as you can, because it's nothing but a glorified club. So, I still need to shoot you, yes? Good. This is where this comes in. This is my 58 caliber 2-band smoothbore Enfield carbine musket. It's called a 2-band because it has these 2 bands that attach the barrel to the stock. Has anybody heard the phrase lock, stock and barrel to mean the whole thing? Comes from weapons like this. This is the lock, this is the stock, this is the barrel. You need all three to have a functioning firearm. Now, to load, what we need, some of this stuff.
Gunpowder.
There we are. It's called black powder. So called because it is black and it is a powder. We're great at naming things, as you'll find out. What does black powder do? Black powder goes BAM! There we go. So we take that. That is one charge. Pour it down the barrel like so. Now we're here for a good time, folks. Yeah. In the graveyard. We're here for a good time, folks. I'll put another charge in there. Maybe wake you all up. There we are. Are we here for a really, really good time, folks? Hell yeah. Charge in there. There we are. Is that enough? No. Alright. I mean, 4 charges will make the gun explode, kill us all. Alright? Okay. So, the next thing that we would do is we would take our 58 caliber lead slug, pop that down the barrel as well. I'm not going to do that today because Clever Man once said, what goes up must come down. And you've guessed it, if this comes down on somebody, I've got to do paperwork. Really hate paperwork. So we're going to skip that step, move to the next one. This is called wadding. Now today I'm just using paper, but wadding can be whatever you can find. Bits of bark off the ground, a handful of grass, a handful of recycled grass from the back end of a horse. Whatever you can get your hand on, just to plug the barrel. You got it. So it goes in the barrel like so. Now the purpose of wadding is, you imagine, I'm sat on my horse pointing my gun down at this young gentleman here. There's nothing there to hold the ball and the powder in place. If I point it down, the ball rolls out, the gunpowder trickles out. It's very embarrassing when you pull the trigger and nothing happens. The wadding keeps everything down at the bottom of the gun. Just needs to get there. So the next step is, we take out this rod that's used for ramming, and known by the very imaginative name as a ramrod. Put that in the barrel, push everything right to the very bottom. We then give everything several good, hard, sharp taps. This makes sure that everything is nice and compressed at the bottom of the gun. Incidentally, the more times I do this, the bigger the bang.
Yeah, keep it going.
Okay.
Keep on doing it.
That enough?
No.
Merry Christmas. Okay, so we'll leave it there like that. The next step, which is very important, is to remove the ramrod from the gun and replace it underneath the barrel. Now, in the middle of a fight, a lot of new recruits will often panic and forget to remove the ramrod. This is incredibly funny when it skewers whoever they're aiming at. It does, however, mean that you cannot reload the gun. So I can guarantee that man that you've just comically skewered will have friends. They now know that you cannot reload, they will charge you and they will kill you. So remember, children, always remove the ramrod so you can kill his friends. That is the gun loaded, just need to prime it. Pull the hammer back into the safety position. Now take out a small top hat percussion cap. So called because it is small, looks like a top hat, but is in fact a percussion cap. Inside of there, you'll see a green solution. This is a sulfide compound, which when struck sharply by the hammer, will create a spark. That spark will travel down the nipple here, into the main chamber of the gun, ignite the powder, and the whole thing should go bang. Now, a well-trained trooper should be able to do all of that in about 20 seconds, or 3 times a minute. Now, bear with me, folks. Thank you very much, sir. So take this opportunity to warn you that the liquid will be rather voluminous in nature. So it's recommended that you take your digits and place them firmly in your auricular orifices. Put your fingers in your ears, it's going to be loud, especially small children. Excellent, I'll turn this off before I blow it up again. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, fingers in your ears! Weapon is armed! Firing! In 3, 2, 1! And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you learn flights. Thank you very much. If anyone's got any questions, please come forward. If anybody wants to, please come forward. If not,